When people demand water, they get shot at and killed by the government. When people demand better living conditions, the response of the state is to kill those people. We're fighting against that. When the students demand free education, they get locked up by the regime. We're fighting against that. We're fighting for equality in our country. We do not want to replace white supremacy with black supremacy. We want to create a society where all of us exist as human beings and not as white and black. We want to restore the dignity of the African continent and position Africa as an equal partner in the world economy and international politics. We want Africa to be like Europe. We don't want Europe to treat Africa like it is its own subject. Africa's time is now. No one should continue with the exploitation of our minerals without our involvement. Not even China will be allowed to recolonize Africa. We are called economic freedom fighters because we want any foreign direct investment to come and invest in Africa through our own terms and to the benefits of the people of Africa. It might be a dream. Some might think it's not real. But we know we're going to achieve it. For because this dream is not just a dream but a generational mission. It's a generational mission we are not prepared to sell out. We want to restore the dignity of African people. We want to ensure that African people are equal partners in trade, in politics, in every subject that the world is debating. We want to follow in the footsteps of Nelson Mandela. Because Nelson Mandela, when he left his term as a president, he said the struggle continues. He said so because he knew that political freedom without economic freedom is incomplete. People cannot eat a cross. People want to put bread on the table. So, like many African leaders, we have committed not to betray the dreams of those who came before us. Like many African leaders, we want to unite the people of Africa to have a common agenda and common purpose. We want Africa to unite and Africa to reclaim its land and its resources. The EFF speaks about expropriation of land without compensation because we know that when the land was taken in Africa was through genocide. Why would we reward genocide? We cannot reward genocide, but we want land because land guarantees us of the sovereignty of South Africa and the African continent. We cannot claim to be Africans, yet we have nothing to show as a proof that indeed we are Africans. For because we do not even have title deeds to prove that we are the owners of the land, we have nothing to show. When you go into mines, it's multinational companies. When you go into banks, it's multinational companies. When you go into monopoly industries, it's multinational companies. We cannot even own and protect our own agricultural sector with our fertile land in Africa, because Europe and the entire developed countries use Africa and South Africa as a dumping site. Every lower grade food get to be dumped in our countries, undermining our own agriculture. When we say those things, we are called communist, we are called anarchist, we are called radicals, because we must continue to bow before a white supremacy. We're refusing. We're refusing to bow before imperialism and colonialism. We want the total control of our own country and our own land.
We are not asking you to leave Africa so that we can have dictatorship of our own people. That's not what we are looking for. We are not looking forward to have power over our own people, that we can rule them as black people. We're not jealous because you're having power over us, so that we want you to go out so that we can be able to have power over our own people. No. We're not expelling white man supremacy so that we can have a black man supremacy. No. We are fighting for our people to have freedom and for our people to live better in their own home, not living like slaves in their own home. We are fighting for the rights of the children of Africa, a black child. We are fighting for the rights of the mothers of Africa, a black mother. We are fighting for the rights of the fathers of Africa, black fathers. We are fighting for the people of Africa in general, that they can have peace within themselves. They can be able to get everything they want to get. They can live in Africa as if Africa is their home, not living in Africa as if they are visitors. We are fighting for a good Africa. We don't want anybody to come and have power over us. We don't want anybody to come and colonize us anymore. That is what Julius Malema is trying to say. That is what he is insinuating. And that is the main reason as to why we are fighting to revolve Africa. That is our intentions to the people of Africa. We want to live like you. We want black people to have freedom all over. We want black people to live peacefully all over. That is what we want. We are looking forward to make sure we are creating a continent, a place where people, when they want good education, they can get good education. We are creating a place where people, when they want good life, they can get good life. When they want good health, they can get good health. When they want good treatment, whenever they get sick, they can get good treatment. We are fighting for a nation, for a continent where people will live well. When they want food, they can be able to get food. They can be able to produce their own things. They can be able to produce their own food. They can be able to manufacture their own things. They can be able to keep their own minerals for their own benefits. We don't want to live like slaves anymore. Not even China is coming to colonize us again. Not even Russia. Not even US. Not even anybody. If you're willing to work with us, you come to Africa, you put on your interests, we see them, you put them clear, we can be able to see them, we can discuss about it. And if it's about working together, we are only working together if every single person is benefiting from it. The issues of you trying to live like we are supposed to be down on you, or rather, we are supposed to kneel down for you, so that you can be able to do 1, 2, 3 things to us. And we know very well we are capable of actually doing these things our own way. We don't want. We are fighting for Africa, a good Africa, a better Africa, a free Africa. We are fighting for a clean Africa, for a happy Africa, for happy people. Like, we want our people to be happy. The issues of our children not going to school because there is no money, we don't want. We are fighting for an Africa where our youths will have employments here in Africa. We are fighting for an Africa where our youths will not have to go abroad in search of education. They can be able to get education here in Africa. We are fighting for an Africa where when someone is sick, cancer and all those diseases that are known not to be healed very easily, they can get those treatments here in Africa instead of going abroad or traveling to India to go and get medication. We are fighting for Africa where our hospitals are going to have medicines throughout. We are fighting for Africa where infrastructure is going to be everywhere. This is not the kind of Africa that we want. Look at this kind of Africa. Look at this kind of schools. Look at this kind of hospitals. Hospitals that are not good. There is no infrastructure. Schools that are not good. There is no infrastructure. When you look at these schools, they don't look good. They don't look well. There are no teachers. There are floods. Some people are even learning, children are learning from under the tree, something that is not good at all. We want an Africa that is looking like Europe. We want an Africa that looks like China. Africa that looks like US. A good Africa. A better Africa. A nice Africa. We don't want to be seen like slaves all the times. Not like people who will be crying all the times. We are crying to you for help all the times. That is not the kind of Africa we want. We want a better Africa. When our children want to go to school, they can go to school and get a better education. That is the kind of Africa we want. When our parents want food, they can be able to get food. When they want jobs, they can be able to get jobs. That is the kind of Africa we are looking forward to create and to develop. You should not look at Africa all the time as a stepping stone. As people who are disabled. People who cannot do anything. People who do not have potentials. People who are limited. Anything you want to do, you come back to Africa and do it from there. We've seen many a times things being created like medicines being created from abroad. And when they want to do some testing, if it is working or not, the place they would come to test those diseases, those medicines and those vaccines, they would come to do some testing here in Africa, because Africa is like a dumping site. Even if people die, it is not your business. If people are being killed by the government that you're sponsoring, it is not your business. That's not what we want. We are not fighting to come and impose our rules on our black people. We are fighting so that Africa can be free. Everybody will be equal. There will be justice in African people. African people can be able to enjoy their resources. The resources of Africa can be able to benefit Africans. Everything can be for Africans. That is the kind of Africa that we are fighting for. That is the kind of Africa that we want. So don't think that we are asking you to get your hand off Africa, to get your dictatorship of Africa, so that we Africans can be able to have dictatorship of our own people. No, that's not what we want. That's not what we are looking forward to. That's not it. What we want is something else very, very different. That's not what we want. Therefore, leave Africa for Africans. Let us be able to rule our own selves, to guide our own selves, to lead our own selves. And that is what Ibrahim Traore has been doing all the times, by creating jobs to the youths of Burkina Faso, by producing food to the people of Burkina Faso, by sorting homelessness to the people of Burkina Faso, by solving the problem of poverty in Burkina Faso, by raising the economy of Burkina Faso. That is what we want. He is not imposing harsh rules. He is not dictating over people of Burkina Faso. He is leading the people of Burkina Faso according to the constitution. They have rights to question the government. They have rights to say and speak out whenever things look like hard on them. They have rights to tell the government, here and here you did wrong, you have to make some changes. They have the right to tell the government whenever the government is going wrong, and the government, it will listen to them. That is the kind of a nation, a continent that we are creating. We are looking forward to make sure all African nations and all African countries can be able to get to that point. That is the kind of Africa that we want to create, by making sure hospitals are there for the people of Burkina Faso. Education is on the spot at the people of Burkina Faso. That is what we want all Africa to be, and all Africa to look like. That is it. So whenever we are fighting for the people of Africa, that is what we are fighting for. And that is what we want. Africa is bigger than everything else. Africa is bigger than everybody else. Africa is better and is richer than everybody else. So the matters of Africa, leave it for Africans. We also want to live like the way you're living. We also want to raise our economy the way you have raised it. You have raised your economy. We also want to raise our infrastructure the way you've raised your infrastructure. We also want to have factories in Africa and industries in Africa that are going to benefit the people of Africa, like how it's happening in Burkina Faso. That is what we want. Therefore, leave Africans for Africa. I am the African Streamline. I love you so much, my black people from diaspora, from Caribbean, and from all over Africa. If it's your first time to be here, make sure you press the subscribe button. And if you are the 10th subscriber, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. I love you so much. An unconditional kind of a love. Adios, muchachos. Thank you so much.